Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'll call to order the regular meeting of the Ascension Parish Council, Thursday, October 16, 2008. Tonight, our invocation will be led by Pastor Gary Willis of the First United Methodist Church.
Let us pray. O God, ruler of all humankind, enter this place with divine authority and remind us that you are God of the church and God of the world. Hold sway over all that is done here tonight, binding these representative deciders together by common servanthood to your people. Seal their hearts and minds to be driven by love, unity, and wisdom, not by divisiveness, ego, or dishonor. And may your will be sought above all, your wisdom be displayed, and your peace reign among them, to the end that hope may triumph and truth prevail. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor. Our pledge tonight will be led by Gonzales Chief of Police Bill Landry and his wife Amy. Please come forward, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Please join with me. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Chief, would you come back up, please? Sir, I'd just like to congratulate you on a fantastic career and everything you've done for Gonzales and the parish. We appreciate you and hope you enjoy your retirement.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Not that I'm counting, but I do have 9 weeks of work left. And I really couldn't wait till January the 1st. I've already got a little trip planned to Reno and watch a nephew play college baseball up in Pleasantville, California. So while I have my health and everything, we're going to enjoy the simple things in life.
Yes, sir. Well, congratulations on your career. Mr. President, would you like to say something?
Yes, on the 20th of November, we'll have our meeting here, and we'd like to ask Bill and his wife and family to come back so we can honor them properly.
Thank you.
We will have Bill Landry Day, sir.
Sounds good. I'll be ready to sign this.
I'd like to take just, I'm not sure if this is working good, I'd like to take a second to, take a few seconds to remember Joey Rosselli, an engineer from SJB who passed away this week, and also Mr. Levi Taco-Ivy, a volunteer fireman, Santa Mo fireman. Please take a second to remember these two men. Thank you. Roll call. Ms. Cinnamon? All present with the exception of Councilman Benny Johnson. Item 3, I don't have any chair additions, emergency items. Public comment period starting at this time with Cinnamon on any item on the agenda. Now is the time. Item 5, our presentation tonight. First presentation, we will recognize the firefighters of the year. As I call your name out, would you please come forward? Chad Robichaud, Gonzales. Dennis Caballero, Sorrento. Mike Reeves, Prairieville. Our junior firefighter, Ashley Norton and Andrew Sanchez from Prairieville. Tyrell Milan, 5th Ward. Byron Bo James, Galvez Lake. The junior firefighter from Galvez Lake is Shane Persack. Jerry Gautreau from Santa Mo. Junior firefighter Dane LeBlanc, Dexter LeBlanc, and Christian Jenkins from Santa Mo. We have Darren Langwall from 7th District who couldn't make it tonight. Junior firefighter Cody Quibido, Keith Norman from Geismar, and junior firefighter Joseph J. Goodlow. We congratulate you all on your awards for this year. We really appreciate your service. You're just doing an outstanding job. We appreciate you. Keep up the good service. Mr. President, would you like to say something, please, sir?
Yes, of course, these guys not only do their jobs, their regular day jobs, but they also volunteer to do this. We've achieved an outstanding fire rating of a 5 outside the city limits, and without these guys, everybody would be paying a lot more insurance, I can assure you. And during Hurricane Gustav, they were the first ones out there, a lot of them volunteers, cutting trees so people could pass, and we owe them all a great debt of gratitude. I commend you all, and we appreciate you as a parish, from myself, the council, and all the residents of the parish.
Thank you all very much. I'd like for one of the chiefs to come up and tell us a little bit about the number 5 rating. Is someone here that can speak on that? The rating that was achieved? It's quite an achievement, and we congratulate you. We applaud you.
There we got one chief coming.
While we're at it, would the rest of the firemen please stand up and be recognized? And I just said that firemen and firewomen. Thank you. Sir?
Yeah, on the fire rating is a 5. You have to, there's a lot of work involved, a lot of paperwork, a lot of training. One of our biggest pluses is hauling water, since the hydrants are not all in. Got to haul, got to be able to pump water 1,000 gallons a minute for 1 hour, and we're able to do that. It's a lot of hard work, and if it wouldn't be for the firemen doing it, then we wouldn't be where we are.
Yes, sir. I think we can all agree with that, and many of us here in the council, President included, has had use of y'all's service, and there again, we really appreciate you. We know the effort. Y'all all work during the day, get up during the night, and we really appreciate your service. Thank y'all very much.
You're welcome.
Next, we have a proclamation for Make a Difference Day to proclaim Make a Difference Day in Ascension Parish. Whereas serious social problems concern our nation and threaten its future, and whereas connecting with others and working together through volunteer service can bridge the differences that separate people and help solve serious social matters, and whereas we, the American people, have a tradition of philanthropy and volunteerism, and whereas millions of self-sacrificing individuals touch and enhance the lives of others on the 18th annual day of doing good by giving where there is need, rebuilding what has been torn down, teaching where there is a desire to learn, and inspiring those who have lost hope. And whereas USA Weekend magazine and its affiliate newspapers and the Points of Light Foundation and its affiliate volunteer centers, including Volunteer Ascension, have joined to promote an annual day of doing good that celebrates and strengthens the spirit of volunteer service. And whereas volunteer service is an investment in the future we all must share. Now there it be proclaimed, Tommy Martinez, President of Ascension Parish, State of Louisiana, do hereunto set the official signature and have cause to proclaim October 25th, 2008 as Make a Difference Day in Ascension Parish, and urge fellow citizens to observe this day by connecting with friends, fellow employees, and relatives, with religious, school, and civic groups to engage in projects through volunteer ascension benefiting their community. Mr. President, is Audrey here? Would you come forward, please, ma'am?
thank all of you. This is the 18th National Make a Difference Day. It's the 11th year that Volunteer Ascension is participating in this day of doing good. And it's a day that's been set aside nationally to challenge volunteers all over the world to really do good in their communities. You can choose a project, any kind of project that betters the community or either provides some sort of assistance to those in need. Register that project with Volunteer Ascension. We are a member of the Points of Light Institute affiliate Hands-On Network. Those two have merged in the last year and a half, and we are that agency in Ascension Parish. Register your project with us, and then we will do the publicity on all of that. If you need a registration form or any other information, just contact Volunteer Ascension and we can get that to you. Thank you.
Next, we're going to proclaim Battered Women's Day in Ascension Parish. Whereas domestic violence has reached epidemic proportions in this country, and 1/3 of American women, 31%, report being physically or sexually abused by a husband or boyfriend at some point in their lives, and domestic violence affects every community in Louisiana, including more than 3,700 women and their children who use the services of the Capital Area Family Violence Intervention Center, Incorporated, known as the Battered Women's Program. And studies show that at one time, 1.5% of women in a community are being physically or sexually abused by an intimate partner, and 0.5% are being stalked. And studies indicate that more than 1/2 of women in abusive situations do not report their abuse. And domestic violence knows no economic, ethnic, or social boundary. It is a problem in all communities, regardless of race, religion, or geographic location. And domestic violence affects every family, every community, and every workplace. And domestic violence affects all intimate relationships. And studies also show that the request for services because of domestic violence rises following natural disasters. And the Capital Area Family Violence Intervention Center, Incorporated, has sheltered women and their children from both Hurricane Gustav and Hurricane Ike, and stand ready to assist the Capital Area and Ascension Parish to be safe from family violence. Be it resolved that the Parish of Ascension is committed to the prevention of further violence against women and commits to continue services supported throughout the parish. And be it further resolved that the Parish of Ascension is committed to provide safety and protection for women who need a safe place and services to develop alternatives for her family. Now, therefore, I, Tommy Martinez, President of Ascension Parish, along with the Ascension Parish Council, do hereby proclaim the month of October 2008 as Domestic Violence Awareness Month in Ascension Parish and the Capital Area, in recognition of the important work done by domestic violence programs in our state, and encourage all citizens to actively participate in the scheduled activities sponsored by the Capital Area Ascension Outreach Battered Women's Program to work toward the elimination of personal and institutional violence against women. In witness, therefore, I have set my hand and caused the seal of Ascension Parish to be affixed upon the 14th day of October in the year of our Lord, 2008. So, anyone here? Anyone? Next is Kim Friends Week, proclamation to proclaim Kim Friends Week in Ascension Parish, whereas Kim Friends will celebrate its 13th year, and our country, state, and parish all have a need for more trained professionals in the field of chemistry, engineering, and other science-related areas, and local students need to be exposed to these professions in order to encourage their interest in these fields, and hands-on demonstrations teach students that chemistry is all around us and can be fun. And Kim Friends Expo 2008, developed in support of National Chemistry Week, has proven to be one of the most successful outreach programs for this area. And Kim Friends Expo 2008 offers an excellent opportunity to have quality time with local students, and is an outstanding vehicle for connecting the products manufactured locally and their uses in our everyday lives. Now, therefore, I, Tommy Martinez, President of Ascension Parish, Parish of Ascension, do hereby proclaim the week of November 3rd to November 7th, 2008, Kim Friends Week, in Ascension Parish and encourage participation in this worthwhile endeavor. In witness, therefore, I have set my hand and caused the seal of Ascension Parish to be affixed upon the 16th day of October in the year of our Lord, 2008. If any of you new councilmen that hadn't visited this when it goes on, it would certainly be something to go to. I think the kids get a lot out of it, and our schools and the plants and the local areas do an excellent job of putting this program together. So we need to thank all the industry around here and also the school board for participating in this.
If we could have the councilmen that represent industry join us, Adrian Thompson, George, Todd. You want to say something?
Let them have the picture. Hey, Ray. You got the trapping industry over there.
Thank you, Mr. President and Council. Just wanted to mention, just wanted to thank you for the kind words within the proclamation, and also invite the Council to visit the Chem Friends Expo, which is November 5th and 6th this year. More information about our organization and its event can be found on the website chemfriends.org. This event was born from several different companies and also in cooperation with the Ascension Parish School Board. This is our 12th year to host this event. Every sixth grader in Ascension Parish, roughly 1,600 students, do get funneled through this event over those 2 days. During those 2 days, from 8 a.m. till 2 p.m., the event is relatively closed just to those students, so we do get concentrated hands-on chemistry experiments. However, the second night, which will be November the 6th, from 5 o'clock till 7 o'clock, we do open the doors for community night, at which point we do allow anybody within the community to come out and experience these hands-on chemistry experiments for themselves. What's interesting about the event is that the students that were there during the day are so engaged and so excited about the events that they saw earlier today that they bring their friends, their families, their brothers, their sisters to come out and see this event. I did want to recognize the companies and organizations that are involved in the event this year. That would be Air Products, BASF, CF Industries, Lion Copolymer, DuPont, Honeywell, Motiva, OxyChem, PCS Nitrogen, Rubicon, Shell Chemicals, Westlake Chemicals, Williams, Ascension Parish, obviously, the Ascension Parish School Board, Southern University, Louisiana Department of Environmental Quality, and the Gonzales Fire Department. We do appreciate your support in this endeavor and do plan to continue holding this event for many years to come. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Joseph, Councilman Joseph, you'd like to say something?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to thank Councilman Kent Shakes and I had a constituent that was in need of help, and I have to give Councilman Kent Shakes and I the thank you. I want to thank you tonight for that. Kent, I appreciate you helping my constituent, and anything I can do for you in the future, please call on me to help yours.
Thank you, Councilman. The rest of the story is that they had a lady that had a problem with her trailer elevating it, and she had some support from business in Donaldsonville. The Koki company helped get her some blocks. Mr. Sharif Fernandez, Michael Fernandez, Clarence Henry tried to assist and volunteered to help raise it. They had some problems, and the lady was back to square one, and she was a lady with 5 kids, and they couldn't get the electricity turned on. So Councilman Joseph talked with us, went out there, and my crew, Alfred Cause and Kyle Odom and C.J. LeBlanc, got together and elevated it for the lady. and they're in there now, and they finishing up the process. And while we were doing that, it was interesting to show you how people end up helping. And former Councilman Jared Barringer passed by. He was working in Modest, and stopped by and found out what we're doing and volunteered to help pay for some of the workers. So as always, Ascension Parish steps forward when people are in need, and I want to thank a lot of people that helped that lady out so she can get electricity. So thanks.
Very good. Councilman Joseph, Councilman Shake Snyder, good job. We appreciate y'all. We'll move into item 6, our parish president report. President Martinez.
Well, I just want to say that we pretty much completed our first round in debris. Everything went well. We still have second round to go, and also going to pick up construction debris on the next round. So I think it's going well. The parish is looking good again. If anybody has any problems, please contact our office or United Recovery Group. And Mr. Gary Beard is handling the state roads for Ascension Parish on the East Bank. And I think the state is pretty much through on the West Bank. We need to ask them to do a second pass officially. I will talk to Mr. Nelson about that. But everything's going well. We're covering well. We all are waiting on the EPA. We've been approved by the state and also the local FEMA office for the private property debris, but we are still waiting on Dallas and EPA there in FEMA. So hopefully we'll get some news in the next few days.
Okay,
Other than that, if anybody has any questions.
Parish President. Councilman Joseph.
Yeah, Mr. President, on the west side, and we just talking about the state, can there be a date, or we try to organize a date where that's be the last time? Because what happened is they made the first pass, and now they're putting more stuff out there. I mean, if we put a date on it, they'll know they need to get it out there, and this will be the last time.
Well, they may have to send the crew that's working here over there. I don't know if the other crews left or whatever.
Right.
But that may happen. It depends on how much it is.
Yeah, because I got Highway 308 right now have more on it, and Highway 1 they're scattered a little bit, but 308 they're
it's not a whole lot from what I see. It's a good bit, but it's not exorbitant.
Right.
Okay.
About a day and a half work.
Okay.
Councilman Shake Snyder.
I just want to remind people they had a number of piles of debris that I checked on, and they were passed up. And the reason they were passed up is people mixed some construction debris with it. So if you have debris in your yard you want to get picked up, please separate that so that they can come back and make note they will not pick it up with tin and other construction debris on it. So
okay, sir.
Make sure.
Any more discussion? Mr. President, while we're on this, your report and what brought it up today, I was looking, the schools are out election day, there's the banks. Are we going to have a holiday in the parish? Have you?
It's not a declared holiday at this point, but if the council wants to do that, it's certainly up to them to do that, and certainly don't have a problem with it.
Okay.
It's not on the agenda, so
that's right.
Put it on the
we'll
next
bring it
agenda.
back. We'll bring it to Donaldsonville. I just didn't know if you had already declared. I know you have a floater there. I didn't know if that was
It'll be over by the time you Donaldsonville meeting.
Yeah,
well, that's true.
The next agenda.
Yep.
It'll miss the next agenda. It won't be.
Well, that's what we call a special meeting, and
yeah. Okay.
You could always do it after the fact if you want to do it. I mean, we can work that out.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think so. Okay, sir. Any more? Item 7, consent agenda, A through E. Look them over, and I'll need a motion to approve.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Councilman Kluart, second by Councilman Valentine. Any discussion? Any objection? Motion carries. Our committee report, Finance Committee, Chairman Chris Lohr.
Other than the items we just approved on the consent agenda and the ones to come on the Transportation Committee, the only other item we had come out of Finance was change orders for the Ascension Parish Library for the Dutchtown site. We approved the number of rain days that was brought to us.
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Adrian Thompson, second by Councilman Claude. Any discussion? Any objection? Motion carries.
The next meeting will be November 13th at 6 p.m. in the courthouse.
Item 9, Transportation Committee meeting, Chairman Dempsey Lambert.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Item 1 is the authorization to increase the amount of SJB Group's task order contract from $200,000 to $400,000.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Moved by Councilman Todd Lambert. Second by Councilman Claude. Any discussion? Any objection? Motion carries.
Item 2, speed cushions installed on Bayou Terrace in the amount of $12,500.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Moved by Councilman Todd Lambert. Second by Councilman Randy Clouard. Any discussion? Any objection? Motion carries.
Item 3, final change order on Boudreaux Road improvements, Phase 2, in the amount of $52,168.55.
Negative.
I'm sorry. Negative.
Give us back. Motion by Councilman Chris Lohr.
Second.
Second by Councilman Dennis Cullen. Any discussion? Any objection? Motion carries.
Item 4, SJB Group proposal for right-of-way survey and mapping for Roddy Road final phase, partial 24, in the amount of $61,255.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Moved by Councilman Todd Lambert. Second by Councilman Randy Clouard. Any discussion? Any objection? Motion carries. Before we get to item 5, I have a speaker on number 5.
Thank you, President and Council. My name is Philip Garrett. You all know me. I had placed a proposal in front of you for the right-of-way acquisition portion of this Roddy Road. We've already done some of the work out there, and our fee is $24,000 less than what y'all are proposing. And I think in times like this, you need to consider every savings that you can. Thank you.
Okay, Councilman Lambert.
Item 5, SJB Group proposal for right-of-way service on Roddy Road, final phase, 24 parcels in the amount of $102,600.
Moved by Councilman Kent Shakespeare. Second by Councilman Clouard. Any discussion? Any objection?
Wait. I'll second for discussion.
Okay. Councilman Clouard.
All right. Mr. Garrett, you kind of coming to us in the 11th hour right here with this proposal, sir?
I made the same proposal 3 months ago along with Westworth.
Right. Thank you.
It wasn't I never heard a response.
Yes, sir. That's good.
Thank you. That's all.
Any objection? Motion carries.
Item 6, task order with South Earth Sciences for the 2000 RC-02 road project in the amount of $27,800.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Moved by Councilman Todd Lambert. Second by Councilman Kent Shakespeare. Any discussion? Any objection? Motion carries.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I will let Mr. Grant or anyone with the administration set the next date for the transportation meeting. I think there's a holiday or something involved, so just set the meeting and we'll go with it from there.
Okay, Councilman Shakespeare?
Yes, just an announcement. Due to the hurricane backing up legal, the strategic planning meeting is not going to be held this month. We have so many legal issues and everything that I got with Lindsay, and we want to wait another month so she can clear out a lot of things that we're doing with that.
Okay, sir. We will move into our general business section. Ms. Martha Collins, request authorization to hold a public hearing on November 6, 2008 for the closeout of the Ascension Parish, Louisiana Community Development Block Grant, Hillerville Sewer Project.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the council, President Martinez. In accordance to the requirements of LCDBG, or the Louisiana Community Development Block Grant, we are required to hold or request a public hearing to close out, and I'm here asking for you to call that public hearing for November the 6th.
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Thompson, second by Councilman Shakespeare. Any discussion? Any objection? Motion carries.
Thank you, sir.
ma'am. Item 11, condemnation proceedings. Mr. Laverne Bourgeois.
Thank you, Parish Council. We have two items to ask direction from the council in accordance with the condemnation proceedings. The first one will be on Highway 74, address 36490. This particular resident's been a 2-year process of working when the first complaints came in up until tonight, which we have a full page of in your packet of items that went through up until this event. And we're asking tonight for the council to give the planning department, building department direction as to proceed with the condemnation.
So moved.
Moved by Councilman George Valentine, second by, I didn't get the second.
Todd.
Councilman Todd Lambert. Any discussion? Any objection? Motion carries.
Thank you. The next item would be on 4413 Jenkins Extension Road. Same request that we asked for direction. This proceeding lasted approximately 1 year at about 6 to 8 different contacts of point and no appreciable reaction from the request to clean this properties up. And we're asking again tonight for direction.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Moved by Councilman Todd Lambert.
Second.
Second by Councilman Dennis Cullen. Any discussion? Any objection? Motion carries.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Item 12, presentation 2008 amended budget and the 2009 budget. President Tommy Martinez.
Okay, you received your budget books tonight. Basically, we'd like you to adopt it. You have to adopt it 30 days before the end of the year. This gives you about 4.5 weeks to look at it. Our offices are open if you have any questions. I will ask Councilman Law to call a special finance meeting so we can just discuss the budget at that meeting and any questions pertinent to it. If you look at the budget, basically it's about a $26 million difference from the 2008 amended budget to the projected 2009 budget. On the general fund, you have a decrease of about 25% of $4.8 million. Some of the highlights of that is that on the Road and Bridge Maintenance Fund, we're going to decrease it by $525,000. Acquisitions of vehicles and equipment. East Ascension Drainage will be cut by about $482,000 for acquisitions of vehicles and equipment. Mr. Grant's going to give a little more detailed outlook here. Special revenues down 5.5. That's all your fund balances combined. Debt service due to recalling the bond, paying off the bonds and drainage board bonds. That's, I think it's about $6.5 million. That reduces that your actual debt service there by 50% per year. Enterprise and internal services, that's 36. That's your cost of living. That's your insurance. That's up 36%. Capital projects went from $46 million to $33 million. That's a $13 million reduction. So the grand total, the 2008 amended budget's $118 million. I think the original budget was something like $119 million. And we're projecting next year a $92 million budget. Of course, on the capital budget, that's reduced because the jail's nearing completion. We have a reduction of road construction projects. Basically, we're not doing any new parish road projects next year. We are interjecting some money in the state roads, 73 and 42, which are part of our overall transportation system. So, you know, we are spending money on transportation. We're closing out 3 projects that were on the books. One of them was from 2001. I think 2 of them were 2001. So hopefully we can get those. And of course, the completion of Fire District Number 3's fire station. So that's where your reduction comes in on capital outlay. But at this time, I'd like to turn it over to Mr. Cedric Grant. I just want to thank Mr. Grant, the Finance Department, Ms. Gwen LeBlanc, and all the department heads for working with us on this. I think it's a good budget. I think it's a solid budget. We're in good shape financially. We just don't have a lot of wiggle room to play with. We should have about a $1.3 million fund balance in the road construction fund next year. That's about it. So hopefully, we can get an influx of new money here in the near future.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Grant?
Right. The President has hit the major highlights. What I'm going to do here is just kind of give you our methodology for how we came to where we are in this budget. As you've indicated on the first page of your budget sheet here is an outline of the major funds in the actual expenditure budgets, which basically amended budget, which you'll be dealing with here in the end of the month, is $118 million. What we're proposing for 2009 is $92,400,000, a 21% decrease in spending for the coming year. Times are hard for everyone, including the parish. But we are in this budget proposing new initiatives and management initiatives to get us there. Basically, I was given the first task by the President was to create a better paid, smaller workforce. So to accomplish that end, we did a couple of things in this budget. Number one is that what you will see in here is that we have raised the rate of pay for entry-level workers from $7 to $10 an hour so we can recruit better employees. And basically what we have is at least a 50% turnover rate at that lower end. So I'm trying to eliminate that turnover by raising the pay and giving people a decent wage. Also in this pay, you'll see a new pay plan here that creates comprehensive pay plan with detailed job descriptions and a career progression for every employee. That was not the case in the past, so now people can understand how you get from step one to step two and what skill set you required to have. The fiscal impact of that change is $404,000 in this budget. In addition, there's a 5% across-the-board living increase that's proposed in this budget, and as I said, with those new job positions and increases, that's a $3.3 million fiscal impact in this budget. Savings. In order to accomplish those changes, I had to create savings. So what we basically did here is I proposed some governmental efficiencies to improve how we do our business. The first and fairly significant one is that we had become very dependent on contract labor, and we were doing it through a labor service and had a great overhead in that, predominantly in public works and drainage. So basically what we did is we reduced that to zero. So the fiscal impact of that is a $1.6 million reduction from the 2008 budget in contract labor. How I'm going to handle that is basically allow the departments to hire temporary workers as parish employees at 20 hours a week with no benefits, and we save the significant dollars that you see here by doing that. So those adds and subtractions have been put in this budget. So the dollars you see in relation to personnel, where there may be a bit of increase, reflects that there's now the ability to make temporary hires. Another major reduction we put in place, based on being able to hire a good fleet manager and someone who really now has control of a fleet, we are going to reduce fleet acquisitions. Fleet acquisitions were running us generally about $2 million a year. Basically now that is down to zero. Maybe 4 or 5 vehicles will be purchased as opposed to the 50 to 70 that had been purchased on an annual basis. That, in order to deal with vehicles, though, I have now created a $500,000 in this budget, $500,000 fund for vehicle leasing, which will allow us to lease heavy equipment as needed, so nobody will ever not need and not have the equipment they need to do their job. Everything from grass cutting equipment to tractors to that will be a part of this leasing fund. That will save us $1.5 million from 2008 in dollars that we had committed to vehicle acquisitions. In this budget, a new initiative that we've put in place is that we have taken one-time money from the operating budget and put it into capital to upgrade our recreation facilities. That will be a $750,000 add, and where we've taken it from is that we had a surplus in the insurance fund, now running 2 years of surplus, and so we took basically a third. That there's still about $2 million in that fund, and we took $750,000 and we'll put it on recreation facilities to upgrade and take care of our facilities. Now, so that's the initiatives that we propose. What I will tell you is what we are facing, and I've listed here in unfunded mandates. These are ongoing unfunded mandates that we have an obligation to fund. And as you can see, as much of the criminal court system, the coroner, constables, the jail is a huge operating expense now with the new expanded facility, criminal court and fence to the tune of $3.8 million on an annual basis in unfunded mandates that come out of the general fund. So that small pot of money that you have to work with, the ones in sales tax, this is where these dollars come from. As I said, the fiscal impact of that is $3.8 million. In addition, we have the Gustav recovery. So we're now anticipating hoping and by the management that we're doing of it, by doing these orderly passes for debris removal and repairs, that we can keep that fiscal impact at only $2 million. That's our 25% match on what we anticipate the cost of those disaster services to be. Nobody, and the President's been working very hard to try and get that reduced to 90-10. No movement on that so far. This anticipates what we're doing now and some of what would happen if we went into private debris removal. We've done an estimate on private property debris removal and 20% of the parish. It's at least as large as the dollar value of what we're doing on the public right-of-way. So it could end up being some fairly significant numbers. In the capital budget, propose a capital budget of $33,451,000. There are major projects to be undertaken in 2009. What I've listed here is the road, just to highlight the road projects. There's about 19 road projects. It's no new projects. It's finishing off what we have in the queue. As you may recall, last year we had a capital budget for roads of about $25 million, which was prior year projects in that. Public Works has done an excellent job of reducing that backlog to now what you're doing now in 2009 is finishing off the backlog and everything that we had in design and ready to go. But it does not include any new projects. There are no new projects proposed in the 2009 program. And what I would want to know particularly for you is that the debt service in 2009 on the road program is $1.4 million, which is about equivalent to one road project. And that debt runs into 2015. So we are at the point now where we're paying as much for debt service as we're paying for projects. Additionally, in the capital budget, we plan to complete the jail this year, which will have a remaining contract payments in the budget of about $1 million. East Ascension Drainage will undertake capital improvements in 2009 valued at about $21 million, and that's how you come back to the 33. The last part of that $33 million is that the debt service payments on the capital expenditures in 2009 total $6.8 million. That's about $6 million less than it was last year, primarily because the Drainage Board in its wisdom saw an opportunity to pay down some debt, and that's a significant savings for you in the out years by doing that. Well, so in summary, the 2009 proposed budget reflects the current economic trends of slow growth in revenue in all sectors of the economy. Expenditures reflect increasing costs of personnel and benefits, as well as the increasing cost of capital projects. New budget initiatives are proposed to stabilize the workforce and pay plan, create savings through efficiencies, and invest in one-time revenues and recreation capital improvements. The 2009 budget finishes road projects currently in design and the jail expansion project. It continues the significant investment made in East Bank drainage improvements. The 2009 proposed operating and capital budgets are a balanced, austere spending plan that directs available resources to parish priorities. The administration submits this budget for your review and consideration.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you a lot, Mr. Cedric.
Yes, sir.
Very well done. Thank you, sir. We'll move into our introduction of ordinance section. Ms. Lindsay Manda, number 13.
This next ordinance is recommended by the East Ascension Drainage District. It's the revocation of a public servitude shown on the map designated as Lot 4, re-subdivision of Lot 4 into Lot 4A in Tract A1B1, and Duvernay subdivision.
Motion to introduce, Mr. Chairman.
Motion introduced by Councilman Lambert. Second by Councilman Kluart. Any discussion? Any objection? Ordinance is introduced. 14, please.
Introduction of an ordinance to revoke a 12-foot utility servitude running 20 feet along either side of the center line of an existing 40-foot private servitude of passage, as shown on a map entitled Map Showing Re-Subdivision of Tract 7A1A and Tract 7A1B of the Samuel W. Flint property into 7A1A1 and 7A1B1 for Samuel W. Flint by Lester A. McLean, Jr., PLS dated 6/18/2008.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Motion by Councilman Lambert. Second by Councilman Kluart. Any discussion? Any objection? Ordinance is introduced. Thank you, ma'am. Planning and zoning recommendations. Councilman, item 15 should read Planning and zoning recommends denial. It was a typo. Mr. Compton, please.
Thank you. Acceptance of a private road, Thomasy Road, into the parish maintenance system. Planning and zoning recommends denial, as this road is substandard and there is no evidence that it was existing prior to 1993.
I'll need a motion, Councilman. Councilman Kluart.
I'd like to make a motion that we accept the road into the parish.
Motion by Councilman Kluart.
Second.
Second by Councilman Dennis Cullen. Any discussion? Councilman Valentine.
Yeah, and I was talking to Councilman Kluart before the meeting. I really was under the impression that the planning and zoning had approved this because it met all the criteria. Can you tell me, Ricky, the reason for denial? Because it's not stipulated in the information that we have here. It's very difficult when something comes from planning and zoning and there's not an explanation.
Right.
And I certainly don't want to set a precedent here of accepting roads in that do not meet our criteria, because I was under the impression it did.
Based on the information that was presented at the Planning and Zoning Commission, the width of the unpaved surface of the road is only 13 feet of gravel. And according to the letter that I received, that was the memo from Ricky Babin, if a road was created before June of 1993, which there is no evidence when this road was created. The DPW research says that this road was created prior to 98. It's uncertain when it was created. But if it was before 93, the minimum surface width of the road must be 16 feet. So that alone means it's substandard. The other thing is it needs to be 40 feet in servitude, which this is. So it sort of hits one and doesn't hit the other. And then it must have at least 2 homes. And this road has, I believe, 8 homes on it.
Mm-hmm.
So the substandard section was they didn't know if it was before 93, so it didn't meet the gravel width, so it was substandard.
Question.
Councilman Valentine, you through? Councilman Thompson.
Is this extension? This is the
extension of.
It's extension.
Mm.
Correct.
Makes things a little bit different.
600-foot extension, 6 something. Ricky.
Yes, sir. It's 684 length from the end of the asphalt of Thomasy Road. It's gravel.
Mr. Chairman?
Councilman Lambert?
Yeah, Mr. Ricky. Take this road in like it is with only that type of base. Explain to us on far as if it ever is going to get hard surface by the parish since it's substandard as we take it in. I know I've ran into that in my district. I got several roads that we took in past administration, and I don't think we're doing too much with them other than grading them a little bit. We're not improving the road any, and we got a lot of residents down this road that's probably going to expect it to get, a little bit more hard surface, widening. I guess from administration, what are we going to do with this road once we take it in? We leaving it as is, or are we going to improve it to the parish standards and continue on?
Well, we're going to have to, at this point, you just heard the budget. We're not doing any new roads, so we're certainly not going to hard surface it. But I guess we would grade it and maintain it if you decided to take it in. It's got a 40-foot right-of-way. I guess we'd have to improve the ditches and widen the road bed.
Well, I have one in my district just like it, and I was told by administration that we wasn't going to widen it, we wasn't going to improve the ditches, and it has a 40-foot right-of-way. So that's why I'm making sure we're on the same page here with it, you know?
Yeah.
I got one, too.
Councilman Kluart?
Yes, the roads in my district, and I think the landowners did a good job of trying to build a good road there. I think, I don't know who's here from DPW, but they went out and looked at it. Matter of fact, Thomas C. Road in the front, where it's blacktop, is actually only a 30-foot right-of-way. And then there's a little short middle section, and there's that goes, and then there's this section behind it. If you went out and looked at it, they did a good job of putting a lot of limestone down, building a good road bed. You may only see 21, I don't know what, 16 foot of rock on it. 13. But you got a pretty good road right there. I talked to the residents when they petitioned me about this. I told them that it may not be blacktop for years and years to come, depending on the budget and depending on what it looks like, okay? Their request is to get it into the parish system. They got school bus to go down and everything else. We've got 8 families back there, okay? And I'm asking to get it in the system. I didn't hear a lot out of DPW about many things wrong with it. Matter of fact, my request to Mr. Valentine and everybody tonight was that I didn't make the zoning meeting. I heard there was a motion to bring it in, and there was a second. There was some discussion about it. And based on what you're telling me tonight, is that you had a few things about the criteria, 1 year versus the next year, what's this, what's that, okay? It's a rural area. That's where I live. And I would appreciate it if we could take that in. And I know the residents don't expect it to be on the next blacktop project, all right? We don't have subdivisions everywhere, okay? And these people work hard. They're good people. I appreciate it if we could take that in.
Councilman Shea Snyder.
Yeah, and I spoke with Councilman Kluart before, and I also was under the impression, looking at that it was recommended by planning and zoning. I just want to caution, and I've said this for a number of years, and that I believe 2 years ago they had some roads that came up, and they allowed a couple of them to come in, and it created a whole bunch of problems. I have absolutely no problem. Our biggest problem right now is that we have no method of accepting roads into the parish that does not meet the criteria. We have no method of doing this. What is the responsibilities of the landowners or anything like that? And it puts us in a bad situation, because you are setting a precedent, and anybody can come out now after this. If we don't, right now it's 1993, it's 16-foot hard surface and 40-foot right-of-way. Am I right, Rick?
Yes, sir.
And that's the criteria. We just have to decide whether we want to, if we vote tonight to throw out the criteria and just accept them on council's wishes, then that's our policy, and we'll follow our policy. I would like us to do a little more studying. I'm not objecting to this road coming in. I think this is a road that should eventually come into our system. But I think we need to establish some type of policy that allows us to get this in there with some restrictions. If it doesn't meet our restrictions on or our requirements for road, then we should establish some restrictions that should happen on the amount of improvements for a certain period of time, or whatever the administration recommends, that it doesn't become an economic burden to the parish. Because whether we like it or not, there's 8 people on there now, as you said. It may, and I don't know the road, it may end up being 12, 16, and then it gets to be a voting block, and they demand a new road, and we might not be in a position to build a new road. And there's other parish roads that people have gone out and paid the money to meet our specifications that deserve their road improved first. And like I say, I think this road should get into the parish system eventually. We do not have a system to do that. I would rather send it back to transportation to get a recommendation as to how we should go about doing this with whatever restrictions, and then I would feel very good about voting it in.
Okay. Councilman Cluart?
Yeah, Ricky, you'd said that the comments of the Planning and Zoning Commission was based on the width of the rock bed.
Personally, I feel that because there's no proof that the road existed prior to 93, they applied the after 93 standards, meaning it needs a 60-foot servitude and it needs to be paved. Because there's no proof that the road existed before 93, they applied the more stringent standards and said it's substandard.
So that's it?
That's my belief, yes.
Thank you.
Councilman Cullen?
Randy, who's maintaining the road now?
The residents are.
And they just want us to take over?
Right.
That's all they're asking for?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Councilman Valentine?
Yeah, just a word of caution, gentlemen. You know, we talked around this council all year about let's not be looking at districts, and we know we've got good people all over this parish, and there are other people that have come to this council, come to planning and zoning with similar roads, and they've been turned down. And you're going to open a Pandora's box here unless we have some restrictions or some type of guidance from planning and zoning, from administration, on what we can do to take in roads like this. There are a lot of roads like this. I've turned down several people that called me that don't meet the criteria. Didn't go any further past than the councilman because I said it doesn't meet the criteria. And so we have rules in place. How you want to interpret them, I mean, it's pretty obvious. They don't meet the, whether it's before 93 or after 93, it doesn't meet the criteria. And that's what I fear here. I understand, Mr. Clue. I mean, this is not any slap on the people with eight houses back and everything. I mean, I have some. So if we do this, then I can see polarity here, and every councilman coming through here now and saying, okay, I got this road because it's televised, it's in the paper. People's going to say, hey, council's taking in roads. I got a problem with that, gentlemen. We need to think this out. I don't say we need to vote this down and throw it out. I kind of agree like Mr. Shakespeare. Let's send it back to transportation, send it back to plan zoning, or at least let's put it on hold till we get some kind of criteria that we can all agree on. Need to agree on this. It's just my comments.
Councilman Cluart?
I just want to know, I took this petition from the people and I brought it to DPW and I brought it to the guys. Everybody look at it. They looked at it. Matter of fact, as late as last night I talked to one of the guys with DPW, and it's, you know, it's got a 10-foot offset up in the front from the back where they have 40 feet, and they got 30 feet. But never once in all my discussions for the past several months has anybody told me that it wouldn't meet because it wasn't paved and it was 60 feet wide. Okay? All right? So I guess we clean up the house, all right? These are residents they've been fooling with this for months. All right, we had pretty much everybody in DPW take a look at it. Thank you.
Councilman Joseph?
I don't know if you have this come to the council before, like in the last 24 months, this road here, because it was not accepted. I think my road was on that list and it wasn't accepted. And I think this street here was on it when Mr. Savoy was here. And it was about, I'd say about 7 or 8 roads on that list. And I think this was one of them that was voted down because it didn't meet the requirements. I just, did you check that?
No, sir.
I'm pretty sure I'm correct on that, and I'd just like to get that information to find out what was the reason why it didn't meet the standards then.
Any more discussion? Any objection?
Wait, what's the motion, and that, what is the motion on the floor?
The motion was made by me to accept.
Acceptance of private road, Thomas C. Road, into the parish
Thomas C.
system.
Road extension.
We had a first, we had a second.
Can I make a substitute motion? I would like to make a substitute motion to delay the acceptance and sending it back to transportation for a plan that we can move forward with to accept roads like this into the parish.
Second.
Okay, we have a amended motion by Councilman Shakespeare, second by Councilman Dempsey Lambert. Any discussion? Any objection? Amended motion passes. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Ricky.
Next, we'll move into our public hearing section. Item 16, reading of an ordinance. Amanda?
Purpose to amend the membership of the Ascension Parish Waterway Commission. Whereas the Ascension Parish Council has created by ordinance in accordance with the Home Rule Charter the Ascension Parish Waterway Commission, and whereas the Ascension Parish Council recognizes the need to amend the membership from 5 permanent members and 2 alternates to 7 permanent members, all of whom shall be appointed by both the parish president and the parish council. Be it ordained that the Ascension Parish Council in lawful session hereby amends the ordinance creating the Ascension Parish Waterway Commission to provide for 7 permanent members appointed by the parish council and parish president.
Need a motion to open.
So move, Mr. Chairman.
Make that motion.
Motion to open public hearing by Councilman Dempsey Lambert, second by Councilman Todd Lambert. In discussion. At this time, anyone wishing to speak on this item, please come forward.
Move to close, Mr. Chairman.
Move to close by Councilman Valentine, second by Councilman Todd Lambert. Any discussion? Any objection? Ordinance is approved.
Move to ordinance, Mr. Chairman.
Moved by Councilman Todd Lambert, second by Councilman Randy Kluart. Any discussion? Any objection? Ordinance is approved.
Motion to adjourn, Mr. Chairman.
Motion to adjourn by Councilman Todd Lambert.
Second by Coleman.